Hello friends, this is Professor Amarjeet Kaur. I am working with Gurugram University in the Department of Management. It's my privilege that I am here with you this day to talk about financial regulators in India. So this is something we started a couple of days ago. We have already covered few regulators in past 3 parts. This is the fourth part in this direction, regarding financial regulators in India, and I intend to cover couple of more regulators. So friends, financial sector is the most important sector in any economy, for the growth of economy, for the growth of the people. This sector needed to be robust, very strong, very stable, and to ensure all these things, the regulation comes into force. And financial regulation is actually all about supervision of financial system by certain regulatory bodies, right? And such regulatory bodies are known as regulators. And we have couple of financial regulators. I have in the past discussed about Reserve Bank of India in the first part of this series. Then we have also talked about Securities and Exchange Board of India, SEBI, very important part. So this is what we discussed in part 1. In part 2 of financial regulators, we have discussed about Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority of India and also Small Industrial Development Bank of India. In part 3, we have discussed about Ministry of Corporate Affairs and we have discussed about Pension Fund Regulatory and Development Authority of India, PFRDA. Today I am going to talk about National Housing Bank, Forward Market Commission, and if the time permits, also about AMFI and IBBI, that is Association of Mutual Funds in India, and Insolvency and Bank Board of India. These are the 4 more regulators we are left with. So I am going to begin the discussion about National Housing Bank, NHB, followed by Forward Market Commission, which doesn't exist anymore. It has been now closed. So National Housing Bank, NHB, as the name suggests, is the apex regulatory body for the housing finance sector in India. It was established in 1988 and operates as a subsidiary of Reserve Bank of India. So NHB, it regulates and supervises housing finance companies, provides financial assistance to institutions engaged in housing finance, and also promotes the development of the housing finance market. So friends, as it's very simple, that NHB, National Housing Board, the name is so perfect here. This is the apex body in regulating the housing finance sector. So housing finance sector or the market is very big market. Majority of people who are into service, if they go to buy, if they want to buy a house, they would generally go for a loan, especially in the old regime of tax. There was tax benefits. So people who would not require money, even they were going for or they were opting for buying a house through loan, because it was helping them save tax liabilities. It was because interest pay on housing loan as well as the principal paid on housing loan, both helps us save taxes, under different sections, 80D and all. So this housing finance sector is really a very big market in the country. Amongst all type of personal loan, housing loan has the highest value, in fact. So it was established in 1988. Looking at the growth of the NHB, so it was established in 88, and it operates as a part of the RBI only, Reserve Bank of India subsidiary, and it regulates and supervises housing finance companies. There are so many companies which are into housing finance. We have PNB Housing, we have SBI Housing, there are so many more housing. These are the 2 I just mentioned are the public sector banks, and they have their housing finance companies. Because I have studied in my PhD, I have studied financial services. So that's how I remember them on my tips. So they provide financial assistance, these housing finance companies, right? Be it PNB Housing Finance or SBI Housing Finance. These housing finance companies are, they're providing financial assistance to individuals, companies, or institutions or NGOs for housing needs. And so they promote and development of housing finance market. The complete housing finance market development is by National Housing Bank. That's what they undertake, they take care. The primary mandate of NHB, National Housing Finance, is to promote and facilitate the growth of housing finance institution and ensure their stability. It just not works on the promotion and facilitating the growth of housing finance institution. HFIs are different than NHB. NHB is a bank, is a primary, is a major, but as we have RBI as a central bank of all the banks is RBI, right, in India. So most of the countries have their central banks. Same way, we have many housing finance institutions. So they are the ones which are actually promoted, facilitated, to ensure they are stable. This is what is the mandate of NHB, National Housing Bank. And it also works forward providing the refinancing to boost credit flow for affordable housing, ensuring financial access for all income group, and promoting strong housing sector. So NHB is actually having a very great responsibility to fulfill that the citizens of the country have their fundamental amenities or fundamental rights to housing, food is being taken care. That's how we have Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. We have so many schemes where housing facility to the all segments of the all economic sectors is being targeted to be provided. So NHB is actually working towards refinancing as well, and is really working towards boosting credit flow for affordable housing. So if I have to summarize all in functions of NHB, the functions are supervision and regulation, number 2 financing and refinancing, number 3 promotion and development, number 4 resource mobilization, number 5 policy and research, and number 6 is grievance redressal. So let me explain these functions of NHB, National Housing Finance. As I said, supervision and regulation of housing finance institution. So HFIs and their supervision as well as regulation, both. It's not just the supervision, they are regulated in fact by NHBs. So as we have Bankings Act and all the banks fall under that. So if the banks have subsidiaries exclusively for housing finance, NHB does that job to regulate them, right? I hope you are getting my point. So SBI Housing or PNB Housing are actually regulated, supervised by NHB, not by the normal banking act. We have Banking Act in India. Then the second function is that even NHB does financing as well as, so it means the NHB has a corpus, it does financing and refinancing as well. For example, if a builder is developing some building, right, some project of let's say 1,000 acres and maybe lakhs of units are going to come over there, so NHB can be the organization, can be, I am not saying must be, right, can be one of or can be the financing organization if already the funding has been taken from somebody, by any of the builders or any development body, then, and if they need further funding or they need to refinance, means what, to pay even the previous loans, so even they need the refinancing, even that is also done by NHB, one of the function of NHB. And then it also promotes and develops the complete housing sector. by uprising, for example, if a particular scheme is being launched for any lower economic sector or any sector of the, for that matter. So NHB will be promoting that scheme, and will be ensuring that the housing sector is developed. So the promotion, that awareness, the education, even the safeguards, all kind of safeguards pertaining to stay safe about financing of houses, even that is also been taken care by NHB, because there's needed to be somebody who takes care that the buyer, or in fact the somebody who's the investor in the housing sector, their interests are safe, are taken care, they are educated, they are aware, they are made, they are apprised of the scheme, they are apprised of the grey side as well. So this is the function of NHB. Then resources mobilization, resources are mobilized from one sector to another sector. For example, NHB can actually get funding and then provide it to others. So resource mobilization is also the function of NHB. It not only that, the research to see that which particular part geographically or otherwise, which particular financially, economically, which particular section of the society needs more support in housing, right? So policy is also framed and research is being carried, research to review different schemes, research to review that particular scheme, particular policy which has been framed is implemented well, what are the outcome, did we receive, did we get that desired output or not, because every policy has certain objectives, so those objectives are analyzed, the outcome is analyzed, and so this is the research. So that's what NHB does. And then of course any kind of grievance by end user, be it institutional or individuals, if they have grievances, even they are redressed, they are taken care by National Housing Board, but pertaining to housing sector only, right? So these are the function of NHB. Now I would be talking about Forward Market Commission, FMC. This is yet another financial regulators which doesn't exist anymore. I will let you know that from 2015 onwards they are not there, but it is merged. In fact, the functions are there, but functions have been merged with SEBI. I will discuss about that. So FMC was the that's why I am saying it was the regulatory authority for commodity and future market in India. And however, in 2015 Future Market Commission, FMC, it has been merged with SBI, SEBI, and to consolidate the regulation of securities and commodity derivative market under the one authority. Since then, SEBI is taking care of the functions of both securities as well commodity market. So that's what the SEBI is now doing. And this Forward Market Commission is actually it has worked as a vital regulatory body in Indian commodity market up to 2015, and now the SEBI is taking care of the commodity as well as security market both. The major function of FMC is was to overseeing exchange, promoting investor protection and managing risk and fostering market development, including that it was there. An association of mutual fund in India is another regulatory body, because FMS does not exist anymore. We have already SEBI has been discussed in part 1. So all those functions which were discussed under the head SEBI, they were very much about securities. They are very much applicable on commodities as well. So I will not be discussing this much because it become part of the SEBI now. So the next authority which I want to discuss is Association of Mutual Fund in India, AMFI. It's a very important financial body, because mutual fund market is actually becoming popular, is really gaining momentum in India. Even for example, this week only I have decided to enter into mutual fund market. The people are gradually becoming aware of and have started participation in mutual fund industry, though it does exist from the couple of decades now. So the Association of Mutual Fund in India, AMFI, is India's self-regulatory body. It's self-regulatory body for mutual fund industry, a non-profit body which is representing all SEBI registered AMCs and focused on developing the mutual fund sector ethically and professionally. So there is a self-regulatory body, AMFI. It provides investors it really protects investors by promoting awareness, setting industry standards, ensuring transparency, liaising with regulators like SEBI, and providing certifications for financial advisors. So we have AR and financial advisors, they get certification. And then if I put all the functions together in headings, here I am going to discuss about functions of AMFI. The first function is investor awareness and protection and education. Number 2 is industry regulation and standards. Number 3, regulatory liaison. Number 4, professional development. Number 5, promoting growth and of MFI industry. Number 6, facilitating marketing. Number 6 is venture capital and equity. Number 7 is nodal agency role. Number 8 is non-financial support, factoring and leasing. So let me discuss these points, friends, in little bit detail. So first one, as I said, is investor awareness, protection and education. So AMFI has the responsibility that investors awareness campaigns are carried, they are apprised of the regulation, they are apprised of their rights, and also ensuring education, they are educated on all the important aspects of mutual fund industry. Then industry regulations and standards to ensure the mutual fund industry works without any flaws, has more transparency in the functioning. This is what is been done. So standards are formed by AMFI for the smooth functioning of mutual fund industry. Then it also ensures that it liaisons with regulatory bodies like SEBI and other RBI or any other government body. So liaising, because it's a self-regulated body. So liaising is also done by AMFI, and the professional development through different education programs for the people who want to work in this sector. Okay, the professional development is also there, promoting growth of mutual fund industry in overall, in by ensuring nobody's interest is actually compromised, and by ensuring that people are apprised of well about the schemes, their interests are protected. So this is how the growth by advertising, by promoting in different levels amongst different investors type, so this promotion of industry is done by AMFI. Then so these are the important functions. Then we have, it also facilitate marketing, sports mutual fund industries, in their marketing their products, venture capital and equity funds, venture capital funding, it also is ensured. Nodal agency role for government schemes, they come forward. Then we have non-financial support like factoring, leasing, etc., is also being done. So these were the functions of this particular body, AFI. Now I would like to talk the last regulatory body, which is Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India, IBBI. So what is IBBI? IBBI is the governing body responsible for implementing and regulating the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, IBC in India. It was established in 2016 and aims to promote and facilitate the resolution of insolvency and bankruptcy cases in a time-bound manner. IBB is the actually charge of regulating insolvency practitioners, insolvency professional agencies and information utilities. The Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India has been instrumental in transforming India's insolvency landscape. So let me just briefly discuss about it. The Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India is not as popular as the other bodies I have discussed so far, but it is really very important board. People who are valuers, people who work in this area know the importance of this particular board, right? So, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board, it was established recently about 8-9 years ago in 2016. It's a governing body which is responsible for an implementation of regulating the insolvency and bankruptcy code. So luckily we have got this code recently, last decade only. So insolvency and IBC code, which we call as IBC, insolvency and bankruptcy code, actually ensures that the resolution of insolvency and bankruptcy cases in a time bound manner. So all companies, all bodies, or all small companies or big companies turning insolvent or turning bankrupt, those cases are winded up in time bound manner. Because what happens if somebody turns insolvent or bankrupt? If a company is turning insolvent or bankrupt, the assets are to be sold, the investor, the stakeholders are supposed to be paid in certain proportion basis on their right, basis on their investment. Equity shareholders have different rights, preference shareholders have different rights, debenture holders have different rights. So this board actually plays very important role in closing of any business in at the time of bankruptcy or insolvency. IBB is the actually the charge of regulating insolvency practitioner. So there are people who work in this area. Those practitioners who decide the value of the assets, they do the valuation. Those practitioners are regulated. All professionals who work in this area known as insolvency professional, or different agencies which are known as insolvency professional, they and the information they all are regulated by IBBI, and this board is actually been instrumental in transforming the India's insolvency landscape. Before this board, before 2016, we were not in very good condition. So we are fortunate this has come up recently, and it is working very effectively. In fact, it's upbeat approach. It has an upbeat approach to implement the insolvency and bankruptcy code, and its focus on transparency, timeliness, professionalism. There are three things it is focusing at: transparency, timeliness, and professionalism. They have certainly impacted the corporate sector very positively. So this is the insolvency board, which is really playing very important role in the landscape of Indian corporate sector, and it has of course certain important functions which I would briefly discuss now. Those functions of IBBI are: number 1, regulation of service providers; number 2, rule making and standard; number 3, oversight and monitoring; number 4, grievance redressal and discipline; number 5, information management; number 6, capacity building and awareness; number 8, advisory role; and last is quasi judicial powers, civil court powers, right? So the first function is it regulates service providers, whosoever, be it a valuer, any professional who is actually providing services for insolvency and for closing of a business. This body is regulating all those service providers. Then all the rules, how it is actually regulating? By making rules. That makes sense. So rule making becomes a function of IBPI, and standards defining the standards for everything, that these many days for this thing, this much value, this much variation, all those standards are being defined by IBPI. So that becomes the function of IBPI. Then oversight of the actual insolvency and bankruptcy process. So that complete process of insolvency or bankruptcy is being oversighted by IBPI. Complete monitoring is done by IBPI. Then the grievance redressal and discipline, that all the grievances any body may have, any stakeholder may have, that is also been taken care by IBPI. And then the information is kept safe, which the information which is supposed to be made public is made public, information which is supposed to be kept confidential is. So the complete information management, it means the announcement of the process, the announcement regarding the ongoing insolvency, or bankruptcy process, the information regarding any kind of the development in this direction, that is been managed by this. And then capacity building, the professional programs and the awareness of the general public, and the capacity building of the professionals who want to work in the area of in the domain of insolvency and bankruptcy. Their capacity is being built, they are being trained. It also work as advisory in certain issues when there is a need. IBPI work as an advisor as well. And the last and very important thing is, it work as quasi judicial power. It can work as civil court. The powers a civil court has, same kind of powers IBPI has. It means it can actually punish in certain instances if the standards are, or the guidelines are not formed. This is a very, actually the power, more than a function. It functions as a quasi judicial court, as a civil court, similar to civil court, but this is a very, very important power in the hand of IBPI. So friends, with this we complete the topic of all the regulators we have total 10 regulators we discussed. One of it which is now closed, FMC. Rest we have discussed in detail, all the regulators, their functions. I hope you were able to understand the importance of these regulators in smooth functioning of financial system of the country. So I think this is the time to sign off now. Thank you very much.